Bam. It says 11 o'clock, and I'm on it tonight. Just like 11:02, and it's there, ready to go. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Sunday night. 3 days without a break-in. Yes. So excited to not find death and destruction once again. Yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing. It's my countdown clock, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. That's what I say yesterday. What? We've got what? Nope, that's the wrong day. Let's see. Where did I put that yesterday? Oh, yeah. So Christmas is 94 days away, not 131 and 151. Thank you to the AI genius that was wrong. 66 days to Thanksgiving and 39 days to Halloween. 39 days. So you better start getting your decorations ready. I'm going to. Sure. I'll do that the week before Halloween. I'll leave it up till Christmas. That's how that'll work. If I'm lucky. Anyway. All right. I have pages. Today was so much happened. I didn't even write down everything because I skipped, country music and bands I didn't care about. I did find that I do know songs by the band Atomic Kitten, which I was not aware of until I listened to a bunch of Atomic Kitten today, because we'll get to that. But I know songs by Atomic Kitten, which I had no idea. Birthdays today. We'll do birthdays. We'll start it right off. Leonard Cohen sings Hallelujah. Canadian singer Leonard Cohen. People love Leonard Cohen. One of those guys. My friend Scott Cunningham loved Leonard Cohen. He was a Leonard Cohen freak. Cohen's okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. Don Felder of the Eagles, Hotel California, born on this day. He wrote that, I believe. He was in the band. He also was a writer of the band stuff. So Hotel California. Come on, classic Eagles. You can't love more than that if you don't like the Eagles. Dave Gregory of XTC, Dear God. I listened to that song. There was a story. I've mentioned this before. A couple of years ago at the radio station, a unhoused gentleman appeared out of nowhere. And we went that occasionally. But he hung around the corner. And he was just there for days. Never saw him eat. Never saw him drink. And I jokingly said, what if it's God? What if this is how God visits us? He just shows up randomly on a street corner somewhere, and he just waits to see if there's any humanity left in us at all. He wasn't panhandling. He just was there. And I said again, I talked to a couple of the people in the office. I said, what if that's how it works? What if that's how God just comes to us in just the form of just someone that you didn't expect, and he just sees if anybody ever asks if he needs help. So we did. So we just went over one day and said, hey, do you need anything? And he just kind of said no. And then one day he was gone. As quick as he showed up, he was just gone. It was just very spooky, very weird. And I was like, so it makes me think about that. And that was the XTC song. Always makes me think about that. And think about that incident, because it was just so strange. Because again, we had unhoused, all the time that would come through the neighborhood, walkers, some of them. I would call that, they would come with backpacks, and you could always pick them out. They were the ones that would come through, on their way past on the train tracks. But some would hang around. This was just one of the ones that always stuck with me. Just a skinny old man, just very strange. Anyway, I don't ever know what happened to him. I can only imagine it wasn't great, unfortunately. Filthy Animal, Phil Taylor, a prominent member of the band Motorhead. Today is his birth. Tyler Stewart of Bare Naked Ladies, also born on this day. John Brooks of the Charlatans, born on this day. Hey, Todd, how are you? Don Felder, Heavy Metal, Taking a Ride. Yeah, no, that's not him. That's different. Heavy Metal. I know. David Sylvia of Korn, born on this day. And also born on this day, Liam Gallagher of Oasis. Liam Gallagher, 43 years old. William John Paul Gallagher. taking Liam from the end of his name, William. Liam. Let's see. He did his solo thing, and 2017 he went solo, doing his own thing after being with the brother Noel. August 23, his 5th solo album went #1, passing Noel's. Ooh, that would make me mad. In the discography, 1994 was the first album by Oasis. Second one was What's the Story, Morning Glory, 1985. Those both, that one topped the charts. Be Here Now, 1979. Fastest selling LP in the UK. Also made chart history. In his solo career in 2017. As You Were, topped the UK, and went in 2018, received a platinum award. So, there's a lot about Liam. I fell into the rabbit hole. I probably read 15, 20 minutes about him. From growing up, with his brother Paul, and just the scallywag he was and is, getting into bar brawls and everything else, and just being a sort of a rabble rouser. And they put him with a couple of other British tabloid figures like Peter O'Toole and a couple other drinkers and partiers. Liam's quite the reputation. I'm always sure Liam was the one who, when we were at Lollapalooza some years ago, he played like 2 songs and left, which I was like, that's perfect. It's like, we get to see 2 songs, and it was like, and I'm out. I was like, I don't think that was Noel. Maybe it was. I don't know. But one of them did that. And it sticks in my mind that they did it. I just don't remember which one, because they both had attitudes. We had them both at one point at the radio station, not together, but Liam and Noel, and they just, both of them just, no one can be in here. Blah, blah, blah. It was just kind of crazy. I think there's a big room recording of that somewhere. So, anyway. Also born this day, Charles Chuck Jones. He was an animator for Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Porky Pig, Daffy Duck. What else? All those things. He was the guy. And remember, we had the birthday of Sylvester J. Pussycat Sr. yesterday, which I think it's hilarious that we also talked about Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner having a birthday. So I mentioned that Bugs Bunny will be coming up shortly, I'm sure. I didn't look ahead. I didn't cheat. I didn't say, when's Bugs Bunny's birthday? I don't know. But I'm sure he'll be having a birthday too. These animated characters seem to have inception dates, which is their birth. So, also born on this day, Larry Hagman from I Dream of Jeannie. He also was JR in the TV show Dallas. Who Shot JR? Who Shot JR? The big cliffhanger of that show. Didn't watch that show. It was sort of like the nighttime drama soap opera TV thing. That's not me. Didn't do it. Not happening. Also, Luke Wilson's birthday today, the Royal Tenenbaums. Luke Wilson, he was in a bunch of movies. And, of course, the birthday of the Caddyshack man himself. The Stripes man himself, Mr. Bill Murray. I liked him in Zombieland, where they shot him when he wasn't really dead. I'm not really a zombie. What are you doing? Bill Murray, you're alive. Yes. The fuck? He shot me. Oh, Bill Murray. I have an autographed picture of, or autographed Caddyshack thing of Bill Murray if it didn't get stolen. I don't know. I'll have to look for it. I moved so much stuff and just put stuff in the storage unit. I was just so pissed. I don't even know if it's still there. There was a lot of crap. If you've never been to the station, it was 10,000 square feet of shit. Anyway, and on the deaths, nobody died. So I didn't put any deaths down. I just was not in the mood for deaths. And there weren't any that seemed like it was like, some people died, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it was Jimmy Buffett. It was Jimi Hendrix. It was Jimmy the Greek. No, nobody of that note died. So I didn't put anybody that died. All right, now I have pages. I've got 3 pages. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 pages of rock happenings. So sit back and relax. A lot of stuff here. This is where the rubber's going to hit the road. This is where I'm going to go meet with Jimmy Kimmel and go do Their TV show. I'll do rock history. That's what I'll do. They can do all the other stuff. I'm just going to take the rock history stuff. Come on, Jimmy. I met Jimmy. He was very nice. Anyway. And again, remember, this is in no particular order because I take multiple things, I write them down, and I go back, and I do not try and make this into a chronological thing. If I did, it would take me even longer to do, which I don't have the time to do that. I take so much time doing this already. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't even get paid for this anymore. 1966, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy, changes his name to Jimi, to Jimi Hendrix. So Jimi Hendrix changes his name to Jimi Hendrix in 1966. In 1976, small change, the fourth LP by Tom Waits, best-selling until 1999, with a song like "The Piano's Been Drinking, Not Me." I was listening to that. It's just like this dirge of him singing over and over again, "The piano's been drinking, not me. The piano's been drinking, not me." He's got that very, very raspy voice. "The piano's been drinking, not me." I was like, all right, that's a fun song. I'm not going to listen to that ever again, just because I don't have a need to. Did it once. I'm good to go. Thank you so much. 1980, reggae singer Bob Marley collapses while jogging in New York City Central Park. Medical diagnosis shows that the cancer that he has spread to his brain, his lungs, and his liver. Marley performs his last concert 2 days later in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and unfortunately passes away the following year. It started with a skin cancer that they found under his big toenail. They said to have his toe amputated, but he said he would not due to religious beliefs. And they just wound up cutting off his toenail and making a skin graft, it said, but that did not curtail the cancer and unfortunately got the better of him. Bob Marley dying in 1981, I believe. 1993, Melissa Etheridge, Breakdown, her second LP, Yes I Am, the single, I'm the Only One, released and became number one, Melissa Etheridge. 2004, Green Day releases American Idiot, the seventh LP, which again became number one on the Billboard 200. It was the first of them. It also sold 23 million copies. The second best behind Dookie, which was released in 1994. It went 6 times platinum and won a 2005 Grammy Award. It was a much, much needed hit after their rather flat failure release in 2000. So, yes, the Green Day era started with that one. And it's got some great, great songs in that one. Holiday, Summer Never Comes. It's a good one. And it's a sort of an anthem story written about Jimmy, it sort of talks about the bad things that happened from 9/11 and everything else. So if you've never listened to the whole album, listen to it. It's great. It's one of those really good ones. I do enjoy that one. That one I definitely listen to and have listened to many times. Now, see, this is where I jump back and forth because some things I'm just like, wow, this is really interesting. 1937, and again, this blows me away because I was not aware that it was this old. 1937, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien is published in London. Mind blown. I did not realize that story was from 1937. I had no idea. When I think I reported this, 70 days ago or something, that about The Hobbit being something. And I was like, wait, when? I was like, I had no clue. If you knew that, you're a better person than I, because I had no idea it was that old. I mean, I know, Shelley's Frankenstein's old, but I had no idea The Hobbit was that old. I just didn't. Just weird. Anyway, TV stuff, 1957, Perry Mason premieres. Remember, it's this time of year, so it's this fall sweepsy stuff, so all these TV shows premiered. 1957, Perry Mason premiered. In 1968, Adam 12 premieres. And I only remember that because the police officer's name was Reed and Malloy. That's right. Rita Malloy. Well, I'm 12. When I'm at 12. Just like Randolph Mantooth from Emergency. I always remember that too because, again, it was Randolph Mantooth and Emergency. And I drove an ambulance eventually. So it was Malloy in the ambulance, and I was Squad 51. No, actually, it was like Squad 41. It wasn't Squad 51. Was it 51? I don't remember now. Sorry. I have a badge here somewhere. I'll bring it back. Like I said, I've got a plaque and I've got a badge. Somewhere I actually have a badge that I got to carry like, yes, I'm important. I've got a badge. It had a cross on it. You know, it said emergency responder, but I did have a little wallet. I could be like, yes, I'm allowed to be here. Hanging on my little jumpsuit. My jumpsuit was red though. I mean, I always thought that was kind of bizarre. It was a bright, like blood red jumpsuit. I think that was to hide the blood. I mean, seriously, why else would our jumpsuits be like bright red? It was really kind of funny. Also had white ones, but those got dirty really easily. So I always thought something more neutral would have been great, like gray, like a gray jumpsuit. I don't know. Who knows? I don't have that anymore. I don't believe I have my red jumpsuit anymore. I do have pictures of me, front page of a newspaper when I was pulling a cop out of a car accident once. I'll find that too. I'll find some of these things. I'm going to bring stuff home and start stacking up crap here so I can like, hey, look, here's the that I'm talking about. I did finally find the license plate. Remember? I told you I have an AI license plate. So see, at least I found something. Damn it. Anyway, 1970. Now, this is just timely, okay? On this date, September the 21st in 1970, it was a Monday, apparently. Monday Night Football premiered, and it was the Browns 31 versus the Jets 21. The Browns won. And I didn't watch a lot of football today, but I did hear people say, the Browns won! Hell's frozen over! They beat the Packers, I guess, today. So, hey, it's a good day for the Browns. So the Browns need to play more on September 21st and have victories, even though it's not a Monday. Just saying. 1998, Will and Grace premiered. TV show Will and Grace. I thought that was funny. In 2007, George Clooney was injured in a motorcycle accident in Weehawken, New Jersey. Probably slipped on sand. Weehawken's near the beach, I believe. Is it? I think so. So, probably slipped on sand, drinking tequila, drinking his Cazadores. Just making that shit up. Remember, sometimes it says in the description, let's see what I can make up. Sometimes I'm just going to make this stuff up and throw it in here. If you weren't double checking it, then how are you going to know if I'm lying or not? It's a hallucination. Just like our friends from, AI hallucinates. Copilot, tell me it's 151 days till Christmas. I'm like, no, it's not. I know that just for a fact. It's under 100. And then when I told him it was wrong, it's, oh, you're right. It's 131 days. I'm like, no, it's not. Copilot lying. It's a hallucination. Promise. None of it's bad. 1957, Frank Sinatra goes to #1 in the UK for 7 weeks with his 12th LP, A Swinging Affair. Good old Frank. My dad hated Frank Sinatra. Would not listen to him. My dad was always listening to the radio. Had like one of those big old, like the size of this desk stereos that had like the speakers built in the cabinet and the doors slid open when the hi-fi, you opened it up and had that thing there. Super cool. Wish it was still around. But yeah, so Frank Sinatra came on. He would get up off his chair, put down his pipe, put down his paper, put down his martini, and he would change the damn channel because he hated Frank Sinatra. Don't know. Never got why Dad hated Frank Sinatra so much, but he was not a fan. Did not like Frank Sinatra. 1963, Blue Velvet by Bobby Vinton goes to #1. That single lasted at #1 spot for 3 weeks. That was a cover. He did not write Blue Velvet, but he's the one who sung it and brought it to #1. Like The Damned did for that song that I said the other day. I was like, hey, wait. Alone Again. I'm like, aha. It's a cover. Somebody else wrote it. And we're going to talk about a cover in a second where someone apparently took something and didn't belong to them. Not good. 1974, Barry White. Oh, the Velvet Voice. Goes to #1 with Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. 1974, Barry White. 1968, Tom Jones. First #1 LP in the UK, Delilah. He goes to #2 in Germany. Apparently, he wasn't David Hasselhoff, or he would have been #1 in Germany. He had that whole David Hasselhoff vibe, but no, sir, did not make it to number one. Did not make it there. In Germany, at least. 1974. Kung Fu Fighting was number one in the UK for 3 weeks. It was a worldwide hit, and it was by Carl Douglas, a Jamaican singer. And I remember this song now because that was one of those things like, when I was a kid, everybody was Kung Fu Fighting. Huh. That dude was fast as lightning. It was like what you did to like roller skating when we were kids. Roller skating at like the high school or the elementary school auditorium. But Jamaican singer, I had no idea. I was going to Google it a little more further, but I was like, I'll just go with that. It just seems odd that it was a Jamaican singer. No, was it a one-hit wonder guy? I don't know. It would sound like it would be. I don't remember ever hearing about Carl Douglas ever again, but I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just going to go with a one-hit wonder. I'm just going to go with that. And we're going to have to leave that alone at one-hit wonder, okay? 1985, Madonna, our friend Madonna, releases Like a Virgin, falls into the UK's top spot. I mean, Madonna's okay. I'm not hating on her. Just wasn't really my thing. Not my style, So, but the Madonna's okay. Excuse me. I'm going out to dinner tonight. Butcher and Rose. Spent way too much money on dinner. But, occasionally you have to go to dinner. It was good. Yeah. You have to do those things, right? 1985, rock band Dire Straits goes to number one in the U.S. Money for Nothing and Chicks for Free. They were also nominated for 3 Grammy Awards. They didn't get them, but they were nominated for it. The big thing that made that so popular was that they had an animated cartoon. Sort of looked almost like a South Park for the Canadians with their choppy little heads. But that's what really vaulted them to fame with that song was that I want my MTV. Just saying, that's how it happened. Also, 6 years later, that's where I need a graphic right there. See, if I went like this, I can go 6 years later. Oh, was that up the whole time? Sorry, didn't know it was up there. That's annoying. My bad. But if I hit the graphic, 6 years later, that'll be funny. See, I'm working on trying to figure out graphics. I'm getting there. It's going to take me a minute. I have to work all day, and I have to do this all night, and I have to watch TV, and I have to get up and work again. I work 7 days a week at this point, I applied for a job today. I don't know if I'll get it. We'll see. I doubt it. I have not been successful at getting employed. It was a traveling job, so that'd be fun. Anyway, 6 years later, to this day, actually, because it's exactly 6 years later, Dire Straits hits number one in the UK with their 6th and final album, On Every Street. Radiohead releases Creep on this day to little or no acclaim. They re-released it in 1993, and it became an international hit. We talked about the video the other day, released that, and again, it was just sort of flat. Nobody really got it. They were just like, I guess they got some promotion for it, and then a year later, they re-released it and reissued it on a different album, and it was like, oh my God, this is the best song ever. I do have to move that at some point. We're going to stop flailing around so much, since that's what I do, apparently. 1993, the third LP from the band Nirvana, In Utero, is released, selling 7 million copies. It is number one in the US, in the UK, Australia, and Sweden. It is said to be one of the best albums of the 90s. 1996, the Fugees released their second album, and they have their number one single in the UK, Ready or Not. 1996, New Adventures in Hi-Fi by REM is number one in the UK and 15 other countries. It's also the last one that founding member and drummer Bill Berry is on. Bill had suffered a brain aneurysm a couple years before and basically quit performing, became a farmer. He's made some appearances back along the way, got back into music in 2002, but has not been the same and just kind of strayed away from the glitz and the glamour. Happens, you know, that's the way it works sometimes. 2002, Atomic Kitten is number one in the UK with their LP Feels So Good. Now see, that's where I said the Atomic Kitten thing, because I was like, Atomic Kitten, I'm like, come on, what the hell? Listened to it a little bit. I was like, first song I heard, I'm like, no. Second song, I'm like, no. Third song, I was like, wait, I've heard this song. And then I was like, oh, okay, I've heard a couple of their songs. So I guess I've heard Atomic Kitten. It's not really my thing, but, you know, it's all right. It's not horrible. It's just not what I'm like, oh, my God, it should be a number one in the UK. No, not my thing. Sorry. Just not me. 2004, John Fogerty, his sixth solo album, John Fogerty, you know who that's from. Deja Vu All Over Again hits number one in Sweden. It only hits number 23 in the U.S., so apparently people weren't really excited about John Fogerty in the U.S. on that album. But Sweden, they were all about it. So that was his David Hasselhoff in Germany moment, I guess. The Swedes love John Fogerty. I mean, you know, that's all right, right? You get recognition somewhere. I'm number one nowhere, so who am I to bitch? After 8-year hiatus, No Doubt returned to the sixth album of Push and Shove in 2012. Good old Gwen Stefani and company. In 2013, the Arctic Monkeys topped the number one UK spot with their fifth album, AM. It also topped in 9 other countries, and it became a worldwide hit. 2017, The National, Grammy-winning 7th LP, Sleep Well Beast, goes number one in the UK. I told you I got pages of this stuff tonight. Pages! I just love the whole damn page. Some Joy Burst. It's mushrooms. Not like the psilocybin kinds, but it has vitamins with focus. So it's supposed to focus my brain. Good luck with that. That's the problem. In 2011, the Beatles, in 2011, a contract was found that was of the Beatles. It sold at auction for $23,000. The contract showed that the Beatles refused to play a segregated show in the Cow Palace in California on August 31st of 1965. It came with a $40,000 guarantee and 150 cops would be present. They said they wouldn't do it. Good for the Beatles. I'm going to change cameras so you can see that because I see the timer's going to run out. So that way, see, I don't actually have it go to a dark screen. Because I hate when I don't pay attention because then you're like, why are you paying attention? Well, because I'm not paying attention. Duh. Anyway. So I think that they did, I don't know if they did play the show or didn't play the show. If they played the show, because it said something about renegotiated contract, basically the renegotiated contract was that it was for $40,000, but they would have 150 cops in attendance. They were expecting it was going to be some race riot at the Cow Palace in California. Apparently it wasn't because that would have shown up in my liner notes. Unbelievable. 2007, Snoop Dogg is sentenced to 3 years probation and 160 hours community service because in his luggage at the John Wayne Airport, which is a really, really tiny airport in Orange County. It's tiny. It's like a little blip. They found a police baton, like one of these retractable batons, and it goes long for hitting people. So he was sentenced because he was found guilty because he pretty much, it's like in your bag, it's right there. No, you're kind of guilty, dude. So he pled guilty to that one. Now, the funny thing is, though, that also in April of 2007, he received 5 years probation and 800 hours of community service because of gun possession and drug possession. Snoop, bro, what are you doing, man? But again, probation and community service. Now, 800 hours community service, that's a substantial amount of time if you think about it. If you're doing a 40-hour week, I mean, 2 weeks is 80 hours. What's that, like 20 weeks? I mean, that's a lot. So anyway, I don't think he did it, sequentially at 40 hours a week. Maybe he did an hour or two in there. Probably still doing those community service hours, working up to it at some point. And exactly what community service is Snoop Dogg doing? You got him picking up garbage on the side of the road, for shizzle. You got him what? Teaching kids English in inner city schools for shizzle. What exactly is community service for Snoop Dogg? That's what I want to know. I'm going to have to Google that one and figure out exactly what is community service for Snoop Dogg. Surely not everybody was kung fu fighting. Everybody was kung fu fighting. It says so. It says everybody was kung fu fighting. 1996, Jack Gillis marries Meg White and becomes Jack White. And so he takes her name and they form the band The White Stripes. Now, initially, Mr. Jack White said that him and Miss Meg White were brother and sister. And he maintained that charade all the way through 2001 until a reporter from the Detroit Free Press figured that one out and said, wait a second, you're not brother and sister. You're married. You're husband and wife. That's how you got this last name. So Jack White maintains his married name of Jack White as opposed to Jack Gillis. And not brother and sister Meg White of the White Stripes. Some people, who are you trying to fool? Nobody's fallen for that. Apparently lots of people fell for that. 1991, Status Quo makes the Guinness Book of World Records because they played 4 full concerts within a 12-hour period. I believe they played, Sheffield, Glasgow, Birmingham, and London, all in a 12-hour period. So if they put on, 2-hour show, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 hours of travel in between. So I did listen to Status Quo because I talked about them before having the most hit singles. So I was like, I don't know anything. And then I was like, okay, I know a song. I knew that song. So I've heard them before. I did not realize that they were called Status Quo. But apparently I do know some songs by Status Quo. In 1986, Michael Jackson is featured in a picture of the National Enquirer in an oxygen tent. And it's stated that Michael Jackson has a very bizarre routine daily and that he plans to live to be 150 years old. That didn't work out so well for MJ, did it? Did not live to be 150, sir. As I always say, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Just saying. And in 1981, Adam and the Ant, it's number 1 in the UK. Their second top hit for Prince Charming. Now, talking about covers, unfortunately, in 2010, the band paid a very large royalty sum in a settlement when Prince Charming was found to be musologically, I believe is what they said, identical to the 1965 Rolf Harris song, War Canoe. I listened to the song, I'm like, okay, yeah. I was like, well, it's a little, that's kind of it, isn't it? Yeah, it was found to be identical. And I guess they paid a shitload of money. A canoe load of money to Mr. Rolf Harris for pretty much plagiarizing his song, not covering it, so to speak, and just taking it and saying, we made a big hit out of this. We made a lot of money. Oops. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, Mr. Adamant. I talked about Adamant the other day. I saw Adamant in concert. The first time I saw him, I met him. Again, see, I should have the picture up. See, this is the thing. If I did this stuff like earlier in the day, then I'd have all this stuff ready to go with pictures. But I wound up doing it. I don't start till like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. So I just sit there and I just write this stuff down and like feverishly take my copious notes. And then I'm like, oh, I have a picture of Adamant. Oh, I've got this. Oh, I've got this. And I just don't do it. That's what I should be putting up on this so I can go, oh, and this with Adamant and this with... That's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to get this set up and get a producer. No, I don't want a producer. No one's getting paid to do this, at least not me. So what the hell's going to get a producer to do this? That's funny. I make myself laugh. You have to laugh, right? That's all we have to do at this point. Anyway, Meatloaf, on this day, Meatloaf debuts the album Bat Out of Hell. Okay? Bat Out of Hell sold 43 million copies. 43 million copies. Think about that. That's insane. That's a lot. And you ready for this one? It still sells 200,000 copies annually to date. To date. Making it one of the best-selling albums of all times. So I had to go find out. All right. Really? Number one, this is the artist, Michael Jackson. Number one of his albums. I didn't look which ones. I didn't want to get the whole list and it got ridiculous. But Michael Jackson, number one selling album of all time. Number two, not going to believe this one, AC/DC. AC/DC, number two selling album of all time. Followed by Whitney Houston, Pink Floyd, the Eagles, and then again the Eagles. So the Eagles had two back to back. Then we got Shania Twain, Fleetwood Mac, and number 9 is Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, which I was like, that's ridiculously crazy. So yes, 1977, Bat Out of Hell, the 9th best-selling album of all time. Who knew? And if you don't remember, Meatloaf was actually in the movie Fight Club. He's the guy that got killed. Remember his name? His name is Richard Paulson. We don't say his name in life. We only say his name in death. His name is Richard Paulson. Just saying. All right, that was almost 4 pages of information. Just talking about that stuff. So tomorrow we'll have episode 114. Episode 114 as we wind in toward that elusive 200 number. And which is even bigger and better potentially is, I can't not pick that up. I was stepping on it. It was annoying me. Episode 200 and the sale of the building. That's what I'm really just striving for at this point. Just to sell the building and not have it broken into and deal with the stress anymore. It does look like October 16th is going to be the auction day. So I'm going to start getting a little thing up there that says auction day, October 16th. Where I'm going to have the stuff for sale that's going to be like from the coolers and the freezers to the glass block windows and the handrails. Literally going to sell everything that's in the building that's not nailed down and hasn't been stolen. I am going to put up a thing for the eBay auction too. I'm going to try and put more of the gold records up on the eBay. I just sold Enya, but I'm going to start reducing the prices of them because I'm going to need to sell them at this point because, I have no money. That's why I'm doing this, because I'm getting paid so much. Anyway, that's about all I got for you this evening. I hope you got to enjoy something and learn something trivial about the trivia. Yeah, the only thing I do is old stuff now. I just can't do anything current. I fell into a doom-scrolling Facebook feed for like a few minutes today, more than a few minutes, and I just was like, oh my God, I have to stop. So I just have to put down the phone. I can't even look at it. The doom-scrolling is just too much doom. And it's just, I just can't doom anymore. I just can't. It's doomy. It's friggin' doomy. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this lovely Sunday night. I do hope you have an amazing week. I believe fall starts tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Fall. It's here. What the hell? This year's just screaming by, but not screaming by fast enough in some respects because the building hasn't sold yet. But it will. It will. It'll sell at some point. And that's, this too shall pass, as they say. Thank you so much. Monday. Do this all again, but completely different. Thank you. Fade to black. Da-na-na-na, Monday, Monday. Ba-na, na-na, feel so good. Da-na. Remember, that was Cass Elliot, Mamas and the Papas.